Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Good morning. Wherever you might be right around the country, hello to you. 8:04am on Wednesday, the 6th of August. Miles Pfitzner back in the chair, filling in for Gareth Hall and for Giddy Up. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Big show, massive show to cover. Just first of all, thank you to Mickey Gannon for stepping in the chair for a couple of days while I had to head up to Darwin. What a drag that was, going up into 31-degree weather, cheering on the races, Palmerston Sprint, Darwin Cup. It was good to hang out with some really good fellas. Had a really good weekend with Sam Hyland and the team. Johnny O'Neill was up there, of course, as you would have heard. All the guys from Roller Dice Racing as well. They had a great carnival. I can thoroughly recommend, if you guys want somewhere to go just for 3 or 4 days in the depths of winter, warm weather, good food, good company, Darwin Cup is where you need to go. Shout out to Andrew O'Toole and everybody there at Northern Territory Racing for making it a memorable carnival. We've already had some texts come in. Any good stories from Darwin this year, Milo? Yeah, well, nothing too entertaining and nothing probably suitable for 8:05am on a Wednesday morning, I can assure you. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. What we do need to do is run through what's happening in the show very shortly. Our great man, Gareth Hall, he has gone straight to the top of the tree. He caught up with Aidan O'Brien. We're going to play that for you very shortly, a nice chat with Aidan O'Brien from Ballydoyle over there in the UK. We'll jump to a break. Naseem Dilmi, who was the assistant trainer there for Godolphin, has taken over at Domeland Racing, replacing Sarah Ryan. So we'll reflect on his transition to that stable. We'll also touch on his runners coming up today, his first runners. Around about 8:30 or a fraction afterwards, Tony McAvoy will join me, and looking forward to a chat with Tony. One of the all-time great blokes is Tony McAvoy, inducted into the South Australian Racing Hall of Fame, new boxes at Flemington, and also we'll touch on some of the spring stars for him coming up, including Half Yours and Arabian Summer. Might think we might be seeing Arabian Summer, maybe sort of head or try to target a Moya. Not long after that, Johnny O'Shea will join me. We'll talk all things linebacker. A few of his other horses I want to touch on with Johnny O'Shea, but his runners more importantly today. Of course, all the regulars, Mick Gannon, Dean Watling, Mitch Lewis for all the midweek racing. Chris Nelson will join me for racing up there in Queensland. Pete Athanas, Butch Castles, Darren Carroll, Amanda Rando. And then we've got trial time. Dean Watling, no trials in Sydney. Matty Morton might get a bigger run today, so trial guy will have a bit of a stretch for him. And then Love It or Leave It. Tom Haylock and Dean Watling will join me. We're going to discuss at the end of the show state of the tracks, maybe some of the nomination numbers are going to be quite interesting, what's happening with these features. Damien Lane riding your book to ride trials up there in Sydney. We'll talk about that. And what you would pick as maybe your meeting to attend over the whole spring. That'll be in Sydney and in New South Wales. Good on you, Damo. Fumbling another beach house deposit. Yeah, I don't mind it. Anyway, it's all in good fun. Someone had to buy the horse and it was cheap. Hey, what we are going to do is we're going to go to an interview that Gareth conducted. It was only really hours ago, wasn't it, we could say, with Aidan O'Brien at Ballydoyle. Gareth Hall caught up with Aidan O'Brien. Here's what they had to say.
Well, here at Ballydoyle, this is a privilege to be with the world's best trainer, the champion Aidan O'Brien, who's been good enough to join us for a special interview on Giddy Up. Aidan, thanks for having us, mate.
Pleasure, Gareth. Pleasure and privilege for us to have you.
No. So tell us about your day. What time would you get up?
Usually kind of between 4:30 and 5, usual day. And obviously first lot would pull out kind of a normal morning, 7:15. We'd do first lot. We'd have breakfast after first lot, maybe second lot would pull out at 9:30, third lot 10:30, and fourth lot maybe 11:30.
Yeah.
And then we'd usually have lunch around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And everybody would have a kind of a nap for a couple of hours, or relax for a couple of hours, and back at 3 and work until 4:45. So that's the usual day. It's not a over busy day. So, but it's kind of hour rolls into hour really.
Yeah. And why do you love it so much? Because you can see it when you talk to the riders going out. We watched a group of 2-year-olds do their work today, but the joy that you get out of this game still.
Yeah, so I suppose it's probably, for me, it's the only thing that I was ever really interested in. And I suppose for us then to be living here in the middle of all these horses and people, like obviously, like they're the best bred, best looking horses probably in the world that you can get. And there's so many special people, all like unbelievable at their jobs, and for us it's a privilege really to be living here in the midst of everybody and working with everybody really.
And you're still learning every day?
Like obviously
what was the last thing that you learned? You thought, well,
I suppose you learn so much. Every horse goes through, you learn something new. You learn that they're all total individuals and you cannot treat them all the same. The ordinary ones with the good pedigrees, they're not performing because you haven't fired up the right genes, so you haven't done the right things to get them to start progressing. And I suppose that's what makes it fascinating. You're changing things all the time, and if a horse is running in such a way and he should be running better, you keep changing and changing and changing until you get a little sprout of improvement, and then when that happens, then you follow the improvement where that came from and see does that make them better. So I suppose that's the fascinating thing. But I suppose everything is pedigree, and the pedigree is the roadmap, and you kind of try and follow that and just get on the right road with them really.
The detail that I like, the 1%ers are unbelievable. When I was watching it up close today, like listening to our horse breeze talking to the riders, but you've also got data now, AI, and all of the information that comes your way. How do you process all of that, and how's that changed the way that you train horses?
So I suppose, like obviously Emery has a thing, obviously it's like a Fitbit or a Whoop for horses. It's a equimetrics. It tells you everything really, and that's probably what's going to be the next big game changer. So it's telling you every single thing about a horse that your Whoop or your a Fitbit tell you about a human being. So that's, and listen, information is always king. And obviously you see and feel, but it's always what you see is always not exactly what's happening, but then and vice versa. So so it's all very exciting really going forward.
Your favourite horse?
Oh gee, listen, obviously it's very hard to get away from Galileo, because he was our first Derby winner. He was Sadlerswell's first Derby winner, and he was the horse that kind of, I suppose, got us on the road. And obviously obviously the boss did an incredible job with him when he went to stud and what happened, and before that obviously everyone in Coolmore before he came to Ballydoyle. So but he's been, and then I suppose his legacy with his fillies is going to be there for years and years, and course really, I suppose really.
And can you see those different stallions and the influence they have on their progeny? And we're just talking just before about the Justifiers. Like, he's had a couple of horses that have been favourite back home for our Golden Slipper. And then you see what Scandinavian did at Goodwood, and he picked himself off the canvas to win that staying contest the other day. That's an amazing strength the stallion can have to do what he's been able to achieve.
We think that Justify is going to kind of totally change the breed. He's what we've always felt. He's Galileo with more class. And they'll go on the dirt and they'll go on the grass, and like what you said, they'll sprint and they'll stay. It's a very unique thing. They all have big, strong, open actions. They all go with their head down. They all have big, long strides. But the fast ones can go very quick as well, and the ones that stay will stay forever. So I suppose what people forget, a horse to win those big sprints, you have to stay as well, because they get such a high tempo and they really keep going. But Justifies are very unusual. We think they're going to change the whole breed. He doesn't. He looks like some thoroughbred you haven't seen before. He's like a big quarter horse really, and he won a Belmont, and he won obviously all the Triple Crown races. So we think, and then along comes City of Troy. Obviously. He's probably been the most incredible horse, and we felt that obviously we only have them for 2 and 3 here, so then they go off the stud. But what was going to happen with him was just going to be off the Richter. But obviously he had to go to stud. But very, very unusual horse as well.
So City of Troy, I remember you talking, no one galloped like he could gallop here.
No, he never got tired. He had a big stride. He was medium-sized horse. He wasn't as big as his dad, but he was the perfect size really. He very genuine. Big cruiser, hardy customer. He wasn't a wimp now. So a very unusual horse, and he went to the Derby without ever having raced around a bend, never ran beyond a mile. So Ryan dropped him in and rode him with all the confidence in the world, and we saw what he done. So incredible horse.
Do you train the Wooden Bassets different to you would train a Justify?
Yeah, Wooden Bassets are quick horses. They probably they're sharper minded horses. He's a very good stallion also, obviously. Very natural, upgrades every mare as well. So we've some very good coals by him. We've a great filly this year, and Henry Matisse is there.
Yes.
Yeah, he's they're very easy to train because all you're doing is slowing them down.
Yeah.
You're not ever asking them anything, so there's no ever mental or physical damage being done. So all you're doing is slowing them down because they want to do it naturally. They always want to overdo it. So listen, as a trainer, that's a lovely way to have a horse, really.
Nominations have come out for our Australian Spring Aidan. I know that you'd love to come to Australia. Delacroix.
Yeah,
he'd be a good Cox Plate horse.
He's an unusual horse.
Yeah.
We thought he was a very good 2-year-old. Obviously he won his 2 trials, very impressive. He's a Debawi. He's no Northern Dancer. I think he did his first, second, 4 dams. So he's a very unique horse. What he did in the Eclipse, we've never seen a horse ever do before. No. He came from an impossible position. He was knocked back, I think 3 or 4 times in the race, and even going to the 2 marker he was taken back. He still couldn't get out, and he still won. So it was a very unusual thing. I think the times that he did in the last 2 furlongs in Sandown were never seen before in an Eclipse. So it was
an amazing run,
and he's a big, powerful, strong horse too. He's going to get physically very big, powerful, strong horses, and he's quick. He's out of a Bernstein mare, so the sharpness is coming there. Obviously with the Debawi. So we're looking forward to him. He's going to York next time, so then maybe to Derry's Champion, and that'll be exciting.
And so Australia comes around pretty quickly. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge because you've still got a lot of racing here in Europe, and then Delmar's just around the corner. Is there a chance that we'll get to see you again?
Of course.
Please.
So we'll try.
I'll pick you up from the airport.
We'll try. We try to go down every year. We've been trying to win a Melbourne Cup for 25 years.
You've got to win them. Joseph's won too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
what's he say at the dinner table? Bring that up?
Yeah, well, listen, I try not to bring it up, but obviously it comes up. But difficult. Listen, he's great. He's done unbelievable, really. It's a difficult race to win. We've tried to win it a few times. Last year we thought we had a certainty.
We're all on too, ain't we?
We thought he could not get beat.
Good to hear from Gareth Hall there, catching up with, arguably the world's best trainer in Aidan O'Brien there at Ballydoyle. You can also catch that interview up on our socials at SEN_track. The boys have loaded it up on Instagram and on Twitter. If you do want to watch the show, there's a little bit to offer a bit later on. You don't just have to stare at me sitting in a sauna of a studio here, sweating bullets, but you can go on Facebook, via YouTube, or via the SEN app. Did you see that guy that commented the other day? It's like, why so shiny, Milo? I was absolutely sweating bullets in here. And this morning is no different. The thermostat is rising, as is the quality of the show. On the other side of this, Nassim Dilmi has taken over at Domeland Racing. Still have Tony McAvoy and John O'Shea for this hour. 0499 736 736 if you've got a question. Hey, and also, very, very quickly, I want to mention, thanks to the team at Bet365. We've got a Bet365 boost horse will be going up very, very shortly. It's going to be Sandown, race 2, number 1, Algorithmic. So we'll have a boost for you very, very shortly to go up, courtesy of one Paulo Sebastiani. I've just jumped on his coattails, and we ride the Mafioso home at Sandown in race number 2. We'll be back on the other side of this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up right around the country. It is 8:23am Wednesday, the 6th of August. Miles Pfitzner with you, and it's all thanks to Bet365. Our Bet Boost horse of the day is Algorithmic Race 2, number 1. To be going up with Bet365 shortly. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Very, very much so looking forward to our chat with this man, ex-Godolphin assistant trainer Naseem Dilmi, now switches over to Domeland Racing and joins me this morning. Naseem, hello to you.
Morning, Miles.
Hey, mate, congratulations. This must be a great thrill for you.
It is, yeah. It's something that I always wanted to do, was to train, and to be able to do that near enough at the right time, where James is now heading to Hong Kong and stepping into a established business. It's very helpful, and I'm very pleased that it all worked out.
Naseem, tell us about your time with James. He's a great friend of this show, and Gareth and I've sort of chatted to James over the years and seen him grow to essentially the trainer he is today. But you must have learned a hell of a lot off a guy like him.
For sure, and he for his for such a young age as well. People forget on how young he is, and he went from being a foreman for his granddad to one of the top 2 trainer in the country, training for Godolphin. So it speaks for itself with the result he's had, and the very good horses that he's trained. And regardless of that, he's always been very helpful. Anyone that's willing to learn, he's always there to help. So he's been a great asset for me, stepping into the training that I've just started.
Naseem, tell us about the transition into Domeland. Sarah's gone out on her own, but done an amazing job there so far.
She's done a very good job, and for she was only pre-training horses for Domeland, and they decided to go back into the private model of training, and they handed her the job, and if in a short space of time she's done very well, because has got great results, and it's good for her to step out on her own now. She thinks she's ready, and I've spent the last 3 days there with her. She was it was her last morning here today, and just to get my head around all the horses and the staff, and she's got great knowledge for such a young person, and knows a lot about the horses, and it's been great that I'm replacing her, but at the same time she was able to help me a lot, to tell me about all the horses that I'm now training.
It must be almost a bit of a luxury to go out sort of training on your own, and you've got runners. We'll talk about them shortly, but you've got some runners today. You'll have a runner on Saturday, but you've got to wrap your head around the fitness of those horses and where they're at. So the transition would have been important, but it must be nice knowing you've got runners essentially going to the track and can get a good read on them.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's easy to say, oh well, you're just stepping into a business and the horses are ready to go, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person that wants to run horses for the sake of it. My very first runner today I scratched it because I found the race was a little bit difficult for the horse. But I've got 2 runners in town, and it's great to be able to have your first 2 runners metro area, and 2 that potentially could run well. So it's very helpful.
I'll touch on them very shortly. I just wanted to ask you about your partner Lauren and your son Charlie. How have they found it? A big decision for the whole family?
It was a big decision, but at the same time, as soon as the opportunity come up for me to to step into training and to get that position. My wife Lauren said, just take it. There's no way around it. I think it's easy. It's easy to say, but at the same time, it was a big move moving interstate, and we transitioned very quickly from I only finished at Godolphin a week ago. Start training here, so within a week we had to move interstate and start in a new job, and we know it's not easy, but we just had to make it work.
Well, Nassim, as you would know, behind the saying, behind every good man, there's a better woman. So hopefully she likes the transition, and glad that you've got some great support. Let's talk about a couple of your runners coming up. You've got one in race 5, number 6, How Much Better, Anna Roper in the saddle, who's riding superbly at the moment.
She's running really well, yeah, and she rode a double at Rose Hill last Saturday, and I looked at her form earlier today. She's ridden 9 winners in the last 50, and a few of them were in town as well. So it's not very easy for an apprentice, and she's doing really well for such a young apprentice as well.
And then in race number 7, you've got AN Province. I probably butchered that. You might be able to help me with the pronunciation of this one.
Aix-en-Provence.
Aix-en-Provence, thank you. I knew you'd be... If you couldn't get it, I don't think anybody could, mate.
Nah, he's a nice horse. He's coming back from a Saturday grade, back to midweek. He didn't run too bad last start. Probably on a track that favoured back markers that day, and probably beaten by a more than better than average horses. But the step up to 1900 today, and Rhys Jones knows the horse well. So he should run well, and I didn't speak about how much better in race 5. He was very unlucky last start. He had Wyong. He was good in the run, but he kept getting shuffled back and had to go really wide. So I think that run we probably didn't really count as a run, but. He's in good form. His form on the wet is probably not the best, but I spoke to Sarah and I had a chat with Anna this morning prior to scratchings, and I think it's fair to say to give him another chance. And if he can run well today, then I'll be happy to pursue with him, or we probably send the horse to the paddock after that.
I like giving him another chance on the wet, and Aix-en-Provence is 2 from 2 on the wet deck too, so big watch there if you can knock off Unusual Suspect. You've also got a couple tomorrow, Oceanfront, Rebel Rhapsody, and then you'll have Salt Lake City go around in the Premier's Cup Prelude on the weekend. They all look like they're placed pretty well.
All have been placed pretty well, and I can't take credit for that. Sarah did all the work with those horses, and they were nominated by Sarah last week. We had a good look at both races for Oceanfront. We accepted in the 1400 as well as the 1500, but it didn't map too well in the 1500, so we elected to run the 1400. His effort at Tamworth last start were pretty good. He was at the back, attacked the line strongly. So he's a type of horse that eventually will get to a mile, I think. And it's a nice race for him tomorrow. He's got a good jockey on. He's got a good barrier. So I believe he shouldn't be far off winning tomorrow.
Nassim, best of luck with your runners today. Looking forward to seeing the next journey in your career. Look after the family, look after the horses, mate, and I wish you the absolute best of luck. Go well up there, my friend.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Nassim Dilmi there, who's now taken over at Domeland Racing for Sarah Ryan. And good to see young people getting a go and having a crack. That's what the game's all about. And to move the family up and have a go up there, we wish him all the best. What we're going to do, jump to the news. Tony McAvoy to join me on the other side of this, and a fair bit to talk to Tony about. We'll be back in a moment.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has discussed the war in Gaza with French President Emmanuel Macron during a phone call overnight. Subpoenas have been issued on Bill and Hillary Clinton regarding the Jeffrey Epstein probe. Australia's solar manufacturing sector set for a $34.5 million boost to help scale up domestic production. An Aussie music legend, Cole Joy, has passed away aged 89. He was best known for his role as the frontman of Cole Joy and the Joy Boys, and for discovering iconic Aussie band the Bee Gees. Up next, SEN Sport. There is a chance sacked Demons coach Simon Goodwin could move to the Swans or Giants due to his wife being based in Sydney, where she works. Over 15,000 people have signed a petition to include netball in the Brisbane 2032 Olympic Games. And in tennis, Aussie Alex de Minaur will face American Ben Shelton this morning at the Canadian Open with a semi-final berth on the line.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Good morning and welcome back. 8:35am right around the country, all thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Miles Pfitzner with you, and thoroughly looking forward to chatting to this man, newly inducted into the South Australian Racing Hall of Fame. Is legendary trainer, 16-time Group 1 winning trainer Tony McAvoy, and he joins me this morning. Tony, mate, congratulations. What a thrill.
Yeah, thank you, Miles. Very privileged and very humbling, and it's starting to really sink in now what it means, and it's quite incredible.
Did you ever think years and years ago that this would be where you'd sit? I mean, we talk about other people that are in that Hall of Fame. You've got some relatives that are in the Hall of Fame as well, but sort of, Tony, you're going to go down as one of the great South Australian trainers of all time, and now you're etched in the Hall of Fame. It must be. Yeah, it must be very, very humbling.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, look, it's not something you ever think about, Miles. It's never ever crossed my mind to be put in a Hall of Fame. Back in my early days, I thought I might have got into the Hall of Shame, but look. I just think it's a great thing when you go out and you work hard and you do your best and in a very tough game and be resilient. And it's amazing when people are watching and these sort of things can happen. It's quite amazing.
Tony, we'll get stuck into the horses and maybe some of the boxes in a minute, but reflecting on your career so far, I know that when I've spoken to you in the past that you said some of the great highlights of training with Calvin, but over your entire career, can you give us an insight into a couple of the best horses that you ever put a bridle on?
Yes, Dulcify. I rode him a little bit of work back in the day. He was pretty good. You know, there was a lot of great horses back in the 80s when I was riding work still for Colin Hayes, and there was a filly called Private Show. I remember Without Fear filly, Miles. We galloped her. My brother Philip actually rode Desirable in this gallop, who was a Group 1 winning 3-year-old. She won the Lightning Stakes Desirable as a 2-year-old, in fact, and then won a Group 1 at 3. We galloped her with this filly Private Show at level weights, and the 2-year-old, unraced 2-year-old filly beat Desirable at level weights in a gallop. So unfortunately, she won her first race by 9 lengths and then broke down and never raced again.
Well, it's funny how people would go for the normal ones you see, but they don't know the hard luck of the ones you never see, Tony, sometimes.
Yes, that's right.
Hey,
that's right.
Tony, let's get stuck into what's currently happening with the stable. You've taken over the 31 boxes of Chris Waller's there at Flemington. I'm going through some of the stats here at the moment. You're striking at 26% your last 50 runners, 18% in the last 12 months. You must be thrilled with how the stable's tracking at the moment.
Yeah, I really am, Miles. It's sort of been, we've been in a bit of a rebuilding phase, to be honest. I mean, we've been buying young horses and we've haven't raced them a lot. We haven't been having many runners, but when we run them, we're really thinking through. Both Calvin, Ryan Moore and myself are really picking the right races for these horses, and we're striking, as you say, very well. But we just need to get back to having more metro runners, and I think the move to Flemington will definitely help us get to that path.
Does that sort of help by maybe opening up tracks like Sandown and Caulfield, just make it a little bit more accessible for some of those metro runs?
You're quite right. It's very hard to do that south side racing from Ballarat, going through the Western Freeway, the West Gate and the tunnel. It can be 3 or 4 hours to get to those tracks like Sandown, Cranbourne and Pakenham. And it's very demanding on your staff and your horses standing in the float for that long. So what Flemington will do, it'll halve that time to get down to Southside, so you'll see us racing more horses down there for sure, Miles.
Who's at Flemington? Who's at Ballarat? Where does Calvin prefer to shack up?
Yes, well, Finn McCarthy, who's a long-time foreman, and he's going to run Flemington for us.
Yes.
And Calvin, he's going to be probably at Flemington 4 or 5 days a week. And I'll be there 2 or 3 days a week. So I can jump in the car here at Ballarat at sort of 3:15 in the morning and be there for first trip, and do track work quite accessibly from Ballarat as well. So, but I think Calv will probably be based at Flemington.
Tony, I want to ask you on a couple of horses before I let you go. We've had text messages already roll in this morning, though. Please congratulate Tony McAvoy for his well-deserved inclusion into the SA Racing Hall of Fame. I've enjoyed being a small share owner with the McAvoys, a fantastic stable full of great people. I'm involved in Movino, makes her debut in race 1 at Sandown today. 5 of us are looking forward to seeing her up close and cheer her on. We've got owners listening in this morning, Tony. Another one, congratulations to Tony McAvoy with his induction to Hall of Fame. I mean, the text machine's lighting up, Tony. I want to ask you on a couple here before I talk on Malvino. How is Half Yours at the moment, Tony? It looks a really, really promising horse for you guys.
Yes, we're very excited about him, Miles. We're not sure where he's going to take us, but it's going to be a very good journey. He's up at the Sunshine Coast. After his Caloundra Cup victory, he just went out to a water walker on a property, some paddocks, and he just had a freshen up, if you like, kept his muscle in the morning, went out in the paddock through the day and back in at night. He's now back in training at the Sunshine Coast, and I have James Rayner up there who was the foreman for me with those horses in Queensland, and he's up there, and the horse is galloping at the moment, and he'll go to Sydney and trial on the 22nd of August at Warwick Farm and run in the Chelmsford Stakes first up.
Quick one on Arabian Summer. The target be the Moya, one of those sort of speed races?
Yeah, the Moya is probably the target. She trials at Flemington on Friday. That'll be her first trial. She'll have another trial, and provided she's going well, we'll look at the Moya, or the backup race could be the Heath.
And the Coco Sun, last seen not that long ago in the Tats Tiara.
Yeah, just didn't get the ground to suit her, Miles. She needs softer ground. So she's galloping at the moment. She'll be trialling on Tuesday, and then she runs in the Rolly Mile at Hawkesbury on the 21st of August.
Tony, always good to chat to you, mate. I still, every time I grab an Elderton Command Shiraz, I think of you because you introduced me to it. But really, sincerely, congratulations. I've grown up watching and backing your horses my entire life. So, yeah, mate, we're very, very well deserved. I wish you all the best for the spring, and may it all continue for you.
Miles, thank you so much for your kind words, and thanks for talking to us.
Tony McAvoy there, now SA Hall of Fame, Racing Hall of Fame inductee, but the stable airborne at the moment, striking 26%. Quick break. Johnny O'Shea, other side.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Miles Pfitzner with you right around the country. All thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. My next guest, the stable are out and out airborne. Last 100 winners striking at 23%. If you've been flat staking them too, you've been 15% on your money. Absolutely flying, and always good to chat to this man. His name is Johnny O'Shea. Hello to you, Johnny.
G'day, Miles. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Things are going pretty well for you at the moment. The stable's flying.
I've had a nice end of the season and with a lot of progressive young horses that hopefully will be able to go on with it.
You've got a couple of younger horses that I wanted to quickly ask you on. They might be a little bit off Broadway. Napoleonic, is that how you say it? Napoleonic?
Napoleonic.
Yeah, that'll do. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, he's back in. He actually trials tomorrow, and I would expect you'd see him in Melbourne at some stage, for some nice races. I think he'll get out to a mile. We didn't overtax him at 2, and he's grown into a beautiful horse. Yeah, I think he's got a bit to offer coming into the spring.
Beautiful. And the other one I wanted to ask you on, is it One Step Closer?
Yeah, he's a really nice staying horse. Miles, I think that, at some stage he'll take his place in the VRC Derby, and he's developed nicely. He's had a couple of seasoning runs at 2, albeit at unsuitable tracks and unsuitable ground, but once the races get out in trip, he will have a lot to offer, and he's got a beautiful stout pedigree, and I've got no doubt about him running a strong mile and a half.
Last one before we touch on today's runners. Linebacker, your Group 1 winner.
Yeah, well, he's trying tomorrow too. Seems to have come back in a little stronger, and he's going very well at home. So he'll have a couple of trials and resume in the tramway.
You've got Tyreek on debut in race 1 today.
Really nice horse. I think he'll be benefited with more time, but he just maps so very well today. He's fit. He's bred to get through the ground. And by definition of where he ends up in the run, he's going to be in the finish.
Race number 2, you've got Cross Tasman. J-Mac gets a ride.
Yeah, got to the front a little soon at Kembla at his last start, and just stargazed, and the winner swooped on him and got him late. So I don't think that'll be an issue today. I think the step to 1550 will help him. Soft ground will help him. So, and again, he's one that maps very well, and he's just a really progressive horse that a lot to offer at better races later on in his life.
Dimitrov in race 6 goes second up and looks like it handles the wet.
He does, but I reckon he's probably just another runaway. He had a long time out with an injury, and albeit he's not feeling any ill effects of that injury, he's just a little bit tubby and probably just need a little racing. But I think maybe third up at 1400 somewhere, he'll be ready to put his hand up there.
And you've got Unusual Prospect, number 10 in race 7. This is a horse that I think we've backed this here on SEN Track twice this prep. He's been quite good to us.
Yeah, well, I think, the step to the 1900 will suit. The addition of blinkers will really suit, because he's a bit of a sort of wayward horse and has been probably crying out for them. And the ground will hold no problems. He maps very well. He presents a really good chance today.
And just quickly, I understand you might have some of those lunatic Sydney boys in that Iniesta that you scratched this morning. Are you going to Iniesta go tomorrow? Was it just the track?
Yeah, more like a gate.
Yep.
To be honest, Tom's away at the moment, and I couldn't stand putting up with them there today, so I scratched it, leave him till next week when he's back and he can handle them. Yeah,
mate, it's hard work, some of those lads, let me tell you. You'll have good fun. You'll have really, really good fun, but they're lunatics. Absolute lunatics.
They're good. They're good boys, and there's no more passionate racing man than Tommy Papley, so I love his energy, and he's got himself obviously a really nice horse in Get a Fix, and we think that Iniesta will be another nice addition to his portfolio. John,
appreciate your time this morning, mate. Stable flying. Have a great spring.
Cheers, Miles.
John O'Shea there. And as mentioned, last 100 runners striking at 23%. Flying. Quick break, reset the show on the other side of this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Miles Pfitzner with you right around the country. All thanks to the team at Bet365. Hey, guess what? Our boost horse goes around at Sandown. Race 2, number 1, Algorithmic for Wayne Hawkes. We had a little conference out the back. Paul Sebastiani said, come with me today. I want it as the boost horse. So all thanks to the team at Bet365. It's never ordinary. When it's brought to you by Bet365, it'll be going up shortly, if not already up, on the Bet365 app or website. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Still a massive show to come. Bag of tips coming up after 9. Gannon, Watling, Lewis, Nelson, Butch Castles, Pete Anthonys. We've got some for Darren Carroll. Trial time. Trial guy's going to go off here. He's had a look at them all. No trials in Sydney, so Watling will be short, sharp and shiny. And then we'll roll into Dean Watling and Tom Haylock for Love It or Leave It. We're going to talk about maybe the decline in numbers for the nominations for some of the spring features. I know Tommy's done some work on that. Guys, stay with me. Stay with me here. I need you. It was a big few days in Darwin. Fast approaching the 9 o'clock news. And I will join you again on the other side of this for Bag of Tips on this magnificent Wednesday, wherever you are, right around the country. Back in a moment.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Aussie music legend Cole Joy has passed away. He was the frontman for Cole Joy and the Joy Boys and was the first Australian rock and roll singer to have a number 1 record Australia-wide. His career starting in the late 50s and spanning 67 years and earning success as a solo artist, singing a number of covers.
Well, I never felt more like singing the blues, 'cause I never thought that I'd ever lose your love.
He was also credited with discovering the Bee Gees. He was 89. South Australia's Attorney-General, the Police Commissioner and the Victims' Rights Group have 60 days to lodge an appeal after James Velasakis was granted parole. The parole board green-lighting the Snowtown Killer's release yesterday after serving 26 years for his role in 4 of the 11 murders. Thousands of jobs are set to be created in WA to help build $10 billion worth of warships for Australia. Japanese shipbuilder Mitsubishi Heavy Industries has won the contract to build 11 frigates, 8 to be built in the state. The Defence Industries Minister is confident the state has the workforce needed to carry out the contract. Anthony Albanese had a phone call overnight with French President Emmanuel Macron to discuss the conflict in Gaza. And legendary filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola has been hospitalised in Italy, where the 86-year-old Godfather and Apocalypse Now director will undergo a heart procedure. Up next, SEN Sport. Geelong coach Chris Scott has weighed in on coaches chatting with out-of-contract players.
There's a reality that it's happening, but to talk about it, I think is something that probably the media wants and the fans might like to know, but there's a lot of things that they like to know that they shouldn't, in my opinion.
Thanks to Channel 7 there. It comes after Pies coach Craig McRae revealed he met with Carlton's Jack Silvani.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
This is my favourite part of the show. You know why? Because it's your chance to win some money from the best in the business, and you win the money on Bet365. You get the best payout across all 3 national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And our Bet Boost horse will be algorithmic. It'll go up now or very shortly. It'll be up on Bet365. I'll give you the odds for that very, very shortly. Bag of tips for the Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for an ice-cold frothy, and Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. Go to OzEquipment.com. The horse is up now. Algorithmic is up. It's our Bet Boost horse of the day. Get up on Bet365. Give it a whack responsibly, of course. Mickey Gannon joins me, the Sydney set host. Hello to you, Mickey G. Thanks for sitting in the chair.
G'day, Miles. Yeah, good to be here, mate. Yeah, it was a good couple of days, so that was fun, and I'm glad you're back, mate. I got to sleep in this morning.
Hey, look, at about 4 a.m. yesterday when I was sitting at the airport, I was going to text you and say, you're keen on doing one more day. I certainly didn't feel like coming to work tomorrow.
I would have done that, mate.
Oh, dearie, mate. Those flights out of Darwin are brutal.
Oh, aren't they ever?
We had some guys leave the pub. There was a 12:30 a.m., a 2:30 a.m. and a 6 a.m. And there were guys leaving the pub going straight to their flights at the airport. Madness. Hey, what have you got for us today, my friend? What are we expecting at Canterbury other than just another wet deck that New South Wales has served up for us?
Oh, settle down. Look, Rail's out 2 metres. It's a heavy 9, so it'll be a battle of attrition out there. Look, I think you just got to bet with caution. There's better races to come. We've got a lot of time to get some good bets away over the Spring Carnival. But if you're looking for a few plays today, look, I'm willing to forgive Miss Jones in race 1. It's the right price to find out. In a small field, look, she's been horrible out of the gates of late, and she's half a length slow, but it's a very winnable race, and $6 is the right price to find out. So race 1, number 6, Miss Jones. If she runs to her best, she can win this, and she's got the fitness edge on a few of these as well. So knocking on the door, she's got a lot of ability, but just needs to get it all right. And I think they get the right price to find out. Race 1, number 6, and you're getting around $6 at Bet365 there, mate.
All right, what else have you got for us?
I'll take you to race 4. Horse number 4, the Enchanter, getting $3 there. Not a bad price at all. First up for Michael Freedman, who's an astute trainer, as you know. Jason Murray's aboard and stable apprentice. And this horse has got form beat Signor Tortoni. There you go. So that's for our man Paul. That'll keep him happy.
Yeah.
Last up now comes out here. That race has produced 3 subsequent winners. So I think it's going for a spell. Come back all right. Race 4, number 4, the Enchanter, hard to beat. But very difficult day, mate. They'll love the push for Algorithmic. I spoke to Uncle Wayne on the means test. He gave his horse a push. Mitchie Lewis gave it a push, and Paul Sebastiani gave it a push as well.
That's enough for me.
That's enough for everyone there, mate. So encourage punters, if you are looking for a bet today, that's probably the way to go.
And it is our Bet Boost horse with Bet365. Gano, thanks for filling in, brother. Greatly appreciated. Look forward to seeing more of you in the spring and just tearing it up.
Can't wait, mate. And big weekend preview tomorrow. We'll be raring to go. I'll be with you. I won't abandon the ship tomorrow.
Thank you, mate. I think tomorrow I might have that second day back syndrome. Mickey Gannon there. Appreciate it, mate. Let's go to our other star up in Sydney. His name is Dean Watling. He's going to join me plenty of times today. Hello, mate.
Morning, Milo. How are you?
Good, my friend. Good. Hey, Canterbury, what have you got for us, please?
Yeah, tricky old card in the sense of a heavy deck. I'm not sure how this track's going to play, but what I do know is that race 1, number 5, Burma Star, is my best there. I always had an opinion on this horse. Debuted behind a good one, Icarian Dream, and sort of was in the market in its last 2 starts and probably just didn't fire. Now with Chris Waller, obviously, with James stepping away from Godolphin, I really like the 2 recent trials. I think the big tick as well, Milo, should find the fence, and we know at Canterbury that is always somewhat of an advantage. Worried about Spice Prawn, but the wide gate might offset that horse. But I think race 1, number 5, Burma Star, kicks us off.
Beautiful.
Race 2, number 2, Cross Tasman should be getting the job done. This is as easy as you'll find a bench rush 64 in the midweeks. Really hard to make a case for anything else in this race. But Cross Tasman was good, 2 back. And then last start probably just settled outside the leader, which wasn't the spot at Kembla, and gave the winner, Superhero, just the perfect trail into the race and sort of pushed it to the grouse outside lane. So I think James will be positive again today across Tasman. I think it's a better track for that setup. I think race 2, number 2, across Tasman is a good bet. I think it'll start sub $2. So they're the 2 for me. Race 1, 5 and 2, 2, Milo.
Beautiful. I know that I think that Cross Tasman, like Johnny had said, probably went a bit early and then gets J-Mac on, so should go well.
Yeah, I think that's a big tick. And 15.52, there's no speed. Like I mentioned, I know it's going to metro grade, but it's probably easier than a contested last start in a provincial. So he should be getting the job done in race number 2.
Beautiful, mate. Appreciate your time as always. Chat again soon for trial time, but more importantly, take it or leave it with Tommy Haylock in an hour.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait.
Dean Watling there. Let's go to our other resident superstar, Mitchie Lewis. Hello, Mitchie, baby.
Hello, mate. How have you pulled up, or are you still going? You're at half, you reckon?
Yeah, look, I reckon tomorrow might be the interesting day. No, it was always going to be tough, but no, I think we've had a good show so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I've heard bits and pieces, but obviously the show gets good from here.
Yeah, exactly right. What have you got for us today? Please tell me that we're on the money with Algorithmic.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I get to do Sandown and Morfettville. There's only a couple where I'm playing at Sandown. Really like Morfettville, but Algorithmic for the best for me. I know it's a maiden horse, but it's just got all the riding on the wall, coming out of much stronger races through its debut, 3 lengths off Rivanello in its second career start. Had the gelding operation. Blake Shin's been on for the 2 trials. It just really screams of they're looking to go on from here. So finds itself in an easier maiden. You would think it should be the hardest to beat out of that.
Well, if you're 3 links off Rivellino and Skyhook, I've got them as 2 massive watches for the spring. I think they're going to be 2 of the better end. So, I reckon that's
You're
as good as
hoping
any.
it's here to just knock off the maiden and progress through into the spring.
Yeah, beautiful. Where are we going next?
The only other one I've got there, race 4, it's a pretty handy race. There's been a lot of money for the 8 Delicate Lady, but I didn't mind the 9, Princess Q, first up here. So, second career prep. She's drawn well. Damien Lane goes on, so you'll expect her to be prominent in the race. But she's just another one of these horses dropping in grade. So she was 4 lengths off him. I know at a big price in the English Sprint behind El Mozillo and Daggers. BM64 here first up off some good trials. I thought she was sort of the better value, so keen to be with her.
Beautiful. Is that it for the day? Well, sorry, let's go to Morfettville, and where you said you were keener.
Morfettville Park.
Yeah, we're not normally there on a Wednesday.
No, interesting. So you normally see it, spin around on a Friday, but that's okay. I like the track. So race 1, number 4, Laws Wars. This horse is third up now. I made Captain Harry a best bet of mine 2 weeks ago. It got the job done. Laws Wars was the only one out chasing it. Jake Toroke here on barrier 2, so you'll expect this horse to be prominent on the Parks track. So I think it looks like it's going to get its chance following some good form references.
Yep. Anything else?
In the last, race 8, number 1, Be Responsible, another jolly setup horse here. So third up as well was a good winner on debut, defeating a Fair View, who just went down in a metro race on Saturday in the bob of a head. Came out second up on the 1,400 metres behind Placo. Not a bad run. It was well supported that day, but maybe just flattened out a little bit. If it gets back to its form first up, I think it'll be hard to beat. Drawn to the inside, 3 kilo claiming apprentice on, so I think it'll go forwards and be prominent.
Hey, Mitchie, appreciate your time as always, my friend. Let's get Algorithmic home for the Bet Boost punters on Bet365.
That's the plan, mate. Good luck, everyone.
Mitch Lewis there, absolute superstar that he is. Did me a big favour on the weekend, Mitchie Lewis. Really big favour. And I owe him big time. Good bloke. Bet Boost horse, Algorithmic, Mitch Lewis with it, Paul Sebastiani with it, Wayne Hawkes with it, we're with it. Bet365 are going to cop it. So get on and jump on that horse there. We're going to jump to a break. We'll come back. Chris Nelson, Butch Castles. I think we've just added Neville Parnham to the show, haven't we, as well? Straight after Pete Anthonys to discuss his runners. Someone just asked what's Linebacker's grand final target. I should have asked the obvious, but it'd be the Cox Plate. I think it's pretty much the obvious answer for that. So that's probably why I didn't ask him. I just ran out of time. And Scott, I'll get you some details about Malverno. I just had a lot to cover with Tony, so I do apologise. We're going to be back on the other side of this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Giddy Up for Gareth Hall. Miles Pfitzner in the chair. Sweating bullets here in the studio. Hello to you. So I do apologise on the stream if I look like I'm hot. It's because it is hot. All thanks to Bet365. You get the best paid across all 3 national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Our Bet Boost Horse of the Day, Algorithmic Race 2, number 1. Go look it up on your Bet365 app. Couple of quick ones. Tony got back to us because he's brilliant like that. He said a really nice filly goes well each way today, but please follow her. That's from Tony McAvoy. Couple off the text saying the grand final is the King Charles or maybe the Golden Eagle. So, well then, yeah, one or the other. But that's, you just think all those majors and then they sort of choose a little bit later. But I apologise I didn't ask, but there's obviously sort of 2 or 3 that are throwing up. But I'd be in the linebacker camp wherever he goes. Hey, what we are going to do, check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Chris Nelson joins me. Hello, Chriso.
Good morning to you, Milo. Good to see you made it back from Darwin in one piece.
I did. I behaved myself this year as much as I could.
Really?
Yes, as much as I could.
I'll check in and see if that's the case when I talk to Sammy and the punter's mate. He'll tell me if that's true or not.
Yeah. Well, I might have behaved myself until the last night.
Okay.
Before I had to work and then after the work was done, then I waited.
Well, that's the way to do it. That's the professional way to do it.
Yeah, it is. Hey, well, Sammy had a winner up there too, which was absolutely fantastic in Seguso. So that was great to see. With while we were on air and we had Simon, Rob, all of them, they were all involved. And then Craig had a winner. So the group we were with had 2 winners on the day. So I couldn't not have a beer with them that night. That would have been a bit rude.
No, that'd be rude.
Absolutely.
Totally rude.
Hey, let's go to Doomben today. Soft 5. Card doesn't look too bad.
It's a good 4, I can tell you. Forget the soft 5, it's a good 4, and it's 25 degrees and not a cloud in the sky, so there won't be any chance of a downgrade, that's for sure. It's not a bad card. Smallish fields, and look, there's not a lot of value there, I wouldn't think, but there are a few standouts, but it's just a matter if you want to take the shortish prices. I think the best of them might be race 5.
Whispering Rogue, yeah.
Whispering Rogue, yeah, who went around at Ipswich last Thursday, was unlucky. There's no doubt about that. He couldn't get a clear crack at them in the straight when he needed to. He did get out late. He did finish off, but look, the margin was half a length on the line, just under. He was being held, but I'd say if he had got out earlier, he might have been too good for the winner. But look, there was a lot of energy and a lot of gas in the tank there that probably wasn't used. So I'm happy to see him a week later. I don't mind that at all. Benny Thompson jumps on today. He's riding really well. Gets to 13.50. I think he's the one we can put our money on today. So I think race 5, number 6, the best. Bit of value. We'll go to race 7, number 8, Red Hot Lizzie. Now, she'll be around $5, I would think. Her recent form's pretty good. She's had 2 runs this time in. Second at Ipswich behind Deep Vegas. The form behind Deep Vegas, this preparation has been outstanding. Everything. We've had 6 winners come out of Deep Vegas' Doomben win, and the horse it beat, we've had a few come out of that. That filly we'll see sometime in the spring, or mare. Then went to Eagle Farm, ran 3rd behind Acapulco Girl. Carried 60 kilos there and just looked to be anchored a little bit the last 100 metres of that race. Now she gets down to 56.5. She draws well for Martin Harley, and she will be fully fit 3rd run back from a break. So we can back her each way. That's race 7, number 8, Red Hot Lizzie.
Like it.
So that's the win. That's the place. The trial tip is race 4, number 2, Keitel. First start for David Van Dyke. And I'll give you a little multi. How about we go down that path?
Oh, hello. Let's go, Chriso.
All right. Race 5, number 6, Whispering Rogue to win. Race 6, number 11, Lady Lucifer to win. Race 7, number 8, Red Hot Lizzie to place. And we'll come home with Pharaoh's Prophecy, race 8, number 4. It was absolutely flying. Don't worry about the gate. Should get across okay.
What price?
That'll be, it depends where you shop. The last time I checked, somewhere between $15 and $20.
We'll get the best price with Bet365, no doubt, but in the nearly $20 range. Greatly appreciated by you. Just quickly, Chris, I wanted to mention too, it's a Brisbane Race Club's membership day today. I've got the details here in front of me because I wanted to give them a push. They've been really good to us. But $330 membership offers for the Brisbane Race Club. You get entry into every race day, plus the Stradbroke season pre-sale access food and beverage discounts. You get members' rewards days as well, and some offers from some local businesses. There's reciprocal rights available as well for the membership, but it's one of the great race clubs, the BRC.
Oh, it is, and you've got the two courses, obviously, Eagle Farm and Dubin, so you can switch it up, and that includes midweek and all the main days, as you mentioned, with Stradbroke Day. $330, that's a pretty good deal. I mean, if you were a regular going to the races, you'd be crazy not to go with something like that.
And if you weren't a regular and you want to go, the time is nigh.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is the right time to do it, so yeah. Get behind it. That's very good value, and you'll see some pretty good horses, and you'll generally do it in fine weather.
Chris, just lastly, Peter Roble went and took out the Darwin Cup. His great mate Blake Shin. He might even join us tomorrow, Blake. Rode the horse for him, but they were very, very confident. Declared at a few functions up there on Hadouken.
He loves the surface, doesn't he? That's the thing with Hadouken. He just loves that surface. He won't go on grass, but when you get him on that surface, or even the poly track at the Gold Coast, where he'd raced a fair bit prior to last year's victory in the Cup, he just loved it. So it's a funny one. It's a horse that doesn't like the turf too much, but once you get him on the artificial surfaces, he loves it. So it was a tight finish, but thankfully he prevailed once again. So hopefully we'll see him back there next year.
Chris, I greatly appreciate you jumping on, and good to give a push. Make sure you give it a push too on the punters, mate, for the Brisbane Racing Club membership day as well. Greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Without a doubt. Have a good day, Mola.
You too. Soon. Chris Nelson there for racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Let's go across the ditch. We'll have a chat to our great mate, all thanks to loveracing.nz, your home of New Zealand thoroughbred racing news, previews, reviews, profiles, and more. Butch Castles joins me. Hello, Butch.
G'day, Miles. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. We go to Riccarton. We actually start there in about 4.5 minutes on the Syntho.
Yeah, we do. Syntho today, middle day of the Grand National Carnival. How times have changed. No jumps races, and they're all on the synthetic. But look, good fields today on the synthetic, as they have been throughout the season there at Riccarton. Your listeners will know one in the first that should be winning. It goes by the name of Secret Bow. It's come back across the Tasman. This last 2 runs when running second, with only 2 runs, have been the second on the Pakenham synthetic. So, look, it should be winning today. It's a short price into $1.75, so the Aussies have climbed in. But anyway, that wasn't one that I'd singled out. Race 2, number 1 was Villa Santi. Michael McNabb goes down today. A lot of the top northern jockeys are there for the day. Michael rides this one for ex-jockey Jamie Bullard. Brings strong form to it, gets up to the mile, and I thought it should be winning. It's into $1.95 now, so has been well and truly found. And then race 7, number 1, Ocean Light. This one unbeaten on the synthetic, trained by the Pitmans there at Riccarton Park. Last win was course and distance over 2,200 metres. Look, it's a tidy enough field, but I think there's something about this Ocean Light. Just loves the synthetic. 2 from 2 on it. Winner of its only start at the trip, and I think it should be giving Kylie Williams another win, as she tends to get close to that 1,000 wins in New Zealand. So they'll be the 2 today. Race 2, number 1, Villa Sante, and race 7, number 1, Ocean Light.
Race 7, number 1, currently $4.20 with Bet365, and race 2, number 1, Villa Sante, around at $1.90. Might even try and take one into the other as well and try and roll a double. Butch, appreciate you as always this morning. Looking forward to seeing some of these Kiwi horses over for the spring too. I'm sure that if I don't get to them with you, Gareth will leading up into the spring, but always feature pretty prominently the Kiwi bred and Kiwi raced horses over here in the spring, mate.
Yeah, they do, and it's starting to warm up here. We had a good set of trials at Taupo on Monday, much like your ones. They're all starting to come out publicly and trial in Sydney and Melbourne. We had a set at Taupo on Monday where a lot of the big names were there. Of course, Tiaka have got a number of their top horses. Their top 2-year-olds from last year, Moved to Strike and La Dorada, are both in the Cranbourne stable now as well. So the New Zealand presence will be strong through the spring in both Sydney and Melbourne.
Appreciate your time, mate. We'll chat again soon.
Cheers, bye.
Butch Castles there, all thanks to loveracing.nz, your home of New Zealand thoroughbred racing news, previews, reviews, profiles, and more. Now, on the other side of the news, I've got Peter Anthonys, all thanks to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. Then, little special bag of tips guest in Neville Parnham to discuss their runners. What I am going to do, though, is give you Darren Carroll still in bag of tips. He's at Bendigo, race 3, number 10, Kiyang Brandy. That is 3 310 Kiang Brandy at Bendigo for Darren Carroll. And all thanks to Harness Racing New South Wales, the home of the Carnival of Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action. We don't have any tips today for Harness Racing New South Wales. I take it those meetings have been rain affected or weather affected, which I think Amanda might have said, you know what, it's pretty tough. So she said, no, boys, no, I'm not coming on. But we love Amanda. And so hopefully, all thanks to Harness Racing New South Wales, we'll get some tips from her tomorrow. Quick break for the news, bang on 9:30. And we've also got Peter Anthonys, Neville Parnham to join me on the other side of this.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has discussed the war in Gaza with French President Emmanuel Macron during a phone call overnight. Subpoenas have been issued on Bill and Hillary Clinton regarding the Jeffrey Epstein probe. Australia's solar manufacturing sector set for a $34.5 million boost to help scale up domestic production. An Aussie music legend, Cole Joy, has passed away aged 89. He was best known for his role as the frontman of Cole Joy and the Joy Boys, and for discovering iconic Aussie band the Bee Gees. Up next, SEN Sport. Geelong coach Chris Scott has weighed in on coaches chatting with out-of-contract players.
There's a reality that it's happening, but to talk about it, I think is something that probably the media wants and the fans might like to know, but there's a lot of things that they like to know that they shouldn't, in my opinion.
Thanks to Channel 7 there. It comes after Pies coach Craig McRae revealed he met with Carlton's Jack Silvani.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall. The Western Whip Around. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West.
Welcome back. Time for the Western Whip Around. Thanks to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. Hopefully you'll see a bit more of Peter Anthonys and I on Racing WA TV and on 7+. We thoroughly enjoyed our time on that. And speaking of the man that has a new haircut and a new lease on life, Peter Anthonys, hello to you.
Morning to you, Miles.
Hey, how'd the haircut land? Well?
Yeah, good reception overall. Maury's done wonders, so he's in the good books.
It was a hard launch of your new head.
Yeah, exactly right. None of this warming business. We're going straight to the oven. So, can't wait to show it off. Back to Perth this weekend. So going to surprise Mum, who hasn't got any idea, and we'll see what the reception's there. That's a true test for me.
I reckon it'll be pretty good. It's better than the other way. You know, like it's when you go back and see Mum and you've grown it right out. That's when you get in trouble. Yeah. Hey, let's get to Belmont. Fascinating that we go back to Belmont here and we're going to cop a heavy 8.
Yeah, look, we haven't got a track update this morning. There's no rain forecast, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're, sort of soft 7, maybe even towards a soft 6. There's no real wind around.
Oh, hang on. As we speak, so sorry, I do apologise. It has been upgraded to a soft 7 just recently. Because it was only updated at 9:20, 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
So, look, we've got a cutaway as well. So I'm not expecting the cutaway to be the best going, but I think I've got the track pattern wrong in WA, I think, every week for the last 6 weeks. So, look, we'll wait and see what the first few races dish up, and then we'll try and attack later in the day.
On speed here, surely.
Look, I think it would be difficult to be making ground from last. I don't really want to be worse than midfield, I'll put it that way.
Hey, rightio, I've got Neville Parnham coming up straight after you too. So if you do have any horses that you've included or you wanted me to ask him a question on, make sure you let me know. But what have you got for the punters today?
Look, I thought the best on the card was race 7, My Jimmy, with Pike jumping on board, barrier 5. He just looks like he's just going to map this horse so well. Forward of midfield, off the fence. My Jimmy was unlucky first up, I think it's fair to say. The price is getting short enough. I really wanted around sort of 260, 270 to be betting. We're getting best of around 230, 240. So, look, I'll be holding off just until late, but I do think that's the best on the card. So that's race 7, My Jimmy. But the other horse that I'll just have a little play on at a price in race 3, it's only been drifting throughout the day since the markets first went up. But the horse for Shooter McGrady and also Steve Wolf, number 5, I Love Lucy a lot. Thought that horse was just in the wrong part of the track there at Northam, and I thought just leading was actually going pretty well. So the horse should be on speed. I'm more than happy to have something on at around the $9 mark. So that's race 3, number 5, I Love Lucy a lot.
Yeah, we're getting close enough to, I think we're getting $3. Let me just check this. $9 and $2.40 at the moment with Bet365. So it does look like a really good each way of the day bet. I've got Neville Parnham not far away from joining me, mate. Have any of his runners today that you'd have a bit of a question on, or maybe that I should be asking Neville on?
Well, he's got basically the market covered in race 2 with Zoo Run, and he's also got Binky's War in that race, which hasn't been suited the last couple of starts. And then in race 3 against my selection, he's got Playing Free, which I actually like the trials of, and then wasn't suited at all on debut, and neither was Sam Time Lucky. So he's got all these horses that could improve quite rapidly because we haven't seen what they're actually capable of. So interested to hear his thoughts on both race 2 and race 3.
All righty, mate. Appreciate your time as always. Chat soon.
Cheers, Miles.
And speaking of which, I think he joins me now. One of the greatest trainers that WA's ever produced, an all-round good fella, Neville Parnham. Hello, Neville.
Good morning, mate. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll start with race number 1 at Belmont on the heavy deck. Zoo Run has been pretty well supported, mate.
Yeah, look, she's a very promising horse. I think she can, potentially maybe turn into a feature event horse later in the year. She's a bit of a test fitter today. She's heading up to 1,400 metres, but Chris seems to think that she'll handle it pretty easily, and I feel likewise, but she's only had the 2 starts, and that one was over 1,000, one was over 1,100, which she put them away pretty easily. She's drawn not too bad. Other runs she hasn't drawn so good, and things haven't really gone her way, but she still was good enough last time to, as I said, win comfortably. So if she gets a nice sort of bit of cover today and get into a nice spot, she's got a really good turn of foot. So hopefully she can use that at the end of 1,400, and if she does, she'll be pretty hard to beat.
Just had the wrong page up there. That's race 2, number 3, Zoo Run. In the same race, you've got the 7, Binky's War.
Binky's War, I think she's promising. Probably next prep, in my view, is she's a little bit light on at the moment and probably needs a little bit more maturity before we see the best of her, but it's quite a nice filly. She's had no luck in her races so far, but and probably needs a 1,400 to show her best, but look, she should get a lot better run in this race with a better draw, and I think, I think she's definitely a chance of being top 4, but the other filly has probably got a bit more talent at this stage, so work in progress, really. Binky's Warm. I think next prep she'll be a nice horse.
Race 1, I'll just go back one. You've got the 7, Playful Star.
Yeah, it didn't come around the corner last week in a reasonable spot, but then come out to go around the 3 deep line, and that horse either hung out or run out and took us really wide. So It's a bit of a gamble bringing it back to 1,000 metres, but and obviously drawn wide. But small field, I thought we'd just sort of tucker him behind him and be patient and wait for to have the last crack at him over the last 200 metres. But probably needs to improve, but certainly capable, because it's actually been two previous runs first up, and she wasn't beaten far, and I think that she's close to a win. Just probably needs to sort of step up a little bit in this race and get the luck we need.
Race 3, you've got a couple of chances here in the 10 Playing Free and the 11 Sam Time Lucky. Playing Free is starting to get backed in the market, while Sam Time Lucky seems to start to be drifting. Neville.
Yeah, look, they're both 3-year-olds. They're quite nice horses. I do like them. I think they'll finish up being pretty nice horses in the longer term. Playing Free seems to be fairly switched on at this stage. He hated the wet track. I think it was Bunbury I took him. It was really wet track when he raced first up and his first start, and he just didn't handle it at all. So put a line through that. His trials had been pretty good leading into that run. So what would assume be a much better surface for him to go on today gets probably a nice little cheap run behind the speed, and he certainly can hit the line strong. He's a big, strong horse. He's half brother to another horse I've got called Dug Another Hole, who's a bold front running type, but I think this horse will make a nice horse in probably his next prep too, but he's certainly capable of winning this race. The other horse, Sometime Lucky, he's a little bit immature, but got plenty of talent, and probably needs a good ride from Steve to sort of just get him to come at him a little bit late. The other day he was in a race that was too short for him, and this race might be likewise, but he made a run at him the other day, but his run was short-lived, and he did at one stage, probably at the 200, look like he might have run over the top of him, but he just sort of tired on the run. So he needs a good ride from Steve to get him a cheaper run, and he should be running on late, but I think if he gets out to 1,1400 at his next start, he'll go extremely well. They're both nice horses on the way up.
Race number 8, you've got the 5 Magnachine here. Shani Webster in the saddle to get a bit of weight off.
Yeah, look, she jumps up a bit in class. She was in a low-rated race at Northern the other day, and she was successful. She wanted to go a little bit hard and was sort of a bit head and head with the leader, but she was pretty tough in the run to the line, and they sort of come to the outer on that track that day with the wet conditions. But yeah, look, she does, even at her age, she's and deep into a prep, she's just starting to sort of race really well. So if she can maintain that form, she's not out of it, but she probably needs to, come up a level to sort of beat these horses. She was, as I said, she was in a low-class race the other day.
Neville, I can't let you go without asking about Zip Away. You've got a couple of horses maybe going to the Belmont Newmarket. So Zip Away and Ghost Who Walks, but geez, I love Zip Away. What a horse he is.
He's a pretty nice horse. I would not be guided on his last prep, which was our summer carnival. Things went upside down to the start of the prep when I had to scratch him, and we were on the back foot. He put in a couple of ripping runs, and I probably shouldn't have run him in the last one, the Gold Rush. He was a bit plain in that, but he did come back for a winter campaign. But oddly enough, I sent him out to go on a water treadmill, and he went really sore on his feet, and nothing serious, but just really bruised up badly, and I had to put him out again. So I brought him in a little bit early once he sort of got over that, and he's been going really well. He trialled Monday, ran second behind a speedy type, so I was pretty happy with him. He's a bit fresh, but he's not going around Saturday. I'll wait for the Idyllic Prince, which is weight for age race, and that will be his only run before a short let up, and then we'll head off to the Summer Carnival. But he's definitely come back a bigger, stronger and better horse, I think, and I think we'll see the best of him this campaign. So fingers crossed we'll get everything right.
Neville, appreciate your time this morning. Looking forward to seeing a couple of those horses return and, hopefully go well, and hopefully those tracks can dry out a little bit over there for you.
Yeah, hopefully. It's been a bit of a sticky winter for us, but Belmont being out of action, but we're back there now. Hopefully we can move on from this, because Bunbury copped a bit of a hiding down there. It was on some really, really wet days, and Pinjarra's only, I think, one meeting left there before they renovate their track to really a summer course, but they do a great job there, and both clubs have been able to pick up the baton when Belmont was out of action, and they've done really well. So hopefully we can start seeing some better tracks to race on, and most of the rain might be behind us, hopefully.
Best of luck today, mate. Thanks for joining me this morning.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Neville Parnham there. We're going to jump to a quick break. Trial time on the other side of this. Matt Morton to join me. His top 5 horses to watch. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Now on Giddy Up, it's time for Trial Time with Dean Watling.
Well, welcome back. Miles Pfitzner with you. Well, thanks to Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. It's time for Trial Time. No Dean Watling. Matt Morton joins me in his top 5. Will go up. Hello to you, Matty.
Good morning, Miles. Good morning, listeners. Coming to you this morning from beautiful Bayside Beaumaris.
Oh, good part of the world. I live down towards that way. It's beautiful down there. Hey, mate, you've sort of focused mainly on Cranbourne, I see, here in Flemington. And look, we'll run through your top 5. The first one, Cinturato there at Cranny.
Yeah, that's Cinturato. Improved significantly on a conspicuously quiet jump out 2 weeks ago. His name means belted in Italian, and that's certainly what he did to the opposition on Monday morning. His jump out form last campaign has been franked, and a maiden victory certainly looks within his scope sooner rather than later.
You went to Cranbourne again. Your number 4 is Chest of Gold.
Yep, number 4, Chest of Gold, is a lightly raced 4-year-old from Julius Sanders' stable with plenty of upside and was close up at only his second start from the Future Stars at Pakenham in the late summer. He's returned in excellent order and has performed very well on unsuitably soft ground at these trials. Regardless of the surface, he was too good for 60 and 70 rated horses on Monday and has obvious potential to move through the grades this spring.
Your number 3, Catch the Wind.
Yep, it's an unraced filly from the Price Kent yard, Catch the Wind, and she's been catching the eye for some time now at the jump outs, but has never been more impressive than her latest effort on Monday, beating home some very handy types, including the twice-raced unbeaten Signature Scent. She certainly looks ready to debut soon, and a winning performance is well within her scope.
Your number 2 seed is Evaporate. Really looking forward to seeing this horse come back.
Yeah, I know the stable's pretty keen. He's Evaporate impressed 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned him then, and he's continued to show that form on Monday. He's even better then. Under a straight and quickened with ease to trounce some quality opposition, including Mr. Brightside, who was just there for a jog around. He's in for a big spring, this fellow, and the stable can barely contain their enthusiasm for his prospects this campaign.
Yeah.
So Evaporate, very hard to beat first up.
You'd be thinking that the Cox Plate again would probably be it?
Yeah, no, they were talking about the big race in Sydney. What is it, the 1,500 metre race?
The Golden Eagle.
Yeah, the Golden Eagle.
And your number 1 seed, Escher.
Yes, this filly, I mentioned her again 2 weeks ago in this segment previously, and she was super impressive last Wednesday at Caulfield when demolishing her opponents. Abundant speed accompanies obvious quality, and this filly's definitely going places. 1 start for 1 win, and I expect her to add to that tally if taking up her engagement at Moonee Valley on Saturday.
Matty, appreciate your in-depth analysis as always and keeping a strong eye on those 5, mate. We'll chat again next week.
Excellent. Cheers.
Matt Morton there for Trial Time. We are fast approaching 9 o'clock news in about 25 seconds. Just wanted to mention too, did you guys see Matthew Pavlich announces CEO of the Sydney Swans? Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, we've got a break before the news. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Miles Pfitzner with you right around the country, filling in for Gareth Hall. Don't forget, we do it all thanks to Bet365. Our Bet Boost horse of the day is race 2, number 1, Algorithmic. Jump on the Bet365 app or jump on the Bet365 website. Algorithmic, race 2, number 1, our Bet Boost horse of the day, and we are all confident. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Guess what? It's love it or leave it with a little bit of a twist. We're just discussing a few things rather than hot takes. But Tom Haylock and Dean Watling, it is master and apprentice. This is Mr. Miyagi and Grasshopper. They join me, Tom Haylock, even in studio. Bit of wax on, wax off, wax lyrical. We'll be back on the other side of this. Plenty more to come.
By Signet. Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Officials in South Australia have been given 60 days to challenge the decision that's seen a convicted Snowtown killer granted parole. James Vilasakis has been granted parole after serving 26 years behind bars for his role in 4 of the notorious bodies in the barrels killings. A new e-safety report claims global tech giants including Apple, Google, Meta and Microsoft continue to leave significant gaps in their efforts to combat child sexual abuse. The report shows minimal progress has been made despite warnings not enough was being done. A report's been released into the implosion of the Titan submersible 2 years ago, which killed all 5 people on board. That's described the disaster as a preventable tragedy. Former Navy Commander Dr. Christopher Parry's told Seven there was a blatant disregard for safety.
The company was totally toxic. The working environment was basically saying all the time there are safety issues here. You had a CEO that was saying that safety was secondary to the importance of innovating new technologies.
Former US President Bill Clinton and wife Hillary have been subpoenaed to testify in the congressional probe into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case. The investigation aims to uncover how federal agencies handled Epstein's prosecution and what ties may exist among high-profile figures. And the music world is paying tribute to Aussie singer Cole Joy, who has passed away aged 89. SEN.com.au Sport is next. Ahead of his 350th, Steele Sidebottom spoke to SEN, the Pies veteran, remembering the advice he was given after his first grand final appearance where the Pies won the flag in 2010.
Take all this in because it goes very fast, and it does. It feels like a blink of an eye that, only yesterday that was here, and now I'm 34, I've got no hair, and I'm about to play 350 games.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. On Giddy Up, it's time to have your say. Are you loving it or leaving it?
Time to love it or leave it. Miles Pfitzner with you right around the country. We do today, all thanks to Bet365. Our Bet Boost horse is race 2, number 1 algorithmic, 270 up to 320 available on Bet365 now. Imagine what you can be buying instead. It's up now. Go get it. Won't last. Hey, I've got to welcome in 2 different ones. The Master and the Apprentice, the boys that love Sydney and trials more than anyone that I know. We'll start with the man that joins me in studios, also part of the Sunday show here on SEN. His name is Tom Haylock. Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Milo. How are you, mate?
Hey, good to have a chat to you.
Good. I can't see. There's a camera in the way.
I know. So you've got to go one side or the other. Yeah.
Yes.
Probably a good thing.
You're looking fresh.
I'm sweating bullets here this morning.
The lighting's working wonders for you, Miles.
You reckon it is?
You're looking good.
Yeah.
Take some photos. This is good.
Take some photos.
I thought you'd be a rabble after Darwin, but you've come in sharp.
I literally had to go in the bathroom in the ad break before you got here and wash my face because I'd shined up.
The humidity's obviously worked well up in Darwin.
Yes.
You've had a defrost and you're looking well, mate.
Yeah, feeling okay. Feeling okay. As we welcome in, one of the best in the business from... Oh, he's not there yet. He's not there. We'll get him a moment. His name is Dean Watling.
He'll be on Instagram or something, bit of fishing. He'll be doing something.
And we've got a few things that we're going to cover today in Take It or Love It or Leave It. But probably no real sort of hot take stuff, but things we're all going to probably share an opinion on. But as we welcome in Dean Watling from deanwatling.com. Hello to you, Dino.
Morning again, Miles. Tommy, good to be your voice. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Bondi to Bronte took a bit long.
Yeah, just getting back. I don't know what Tommy mentioning fishing, Tommy. I'm never into fishing, so it shows how good of a mate you are.
Different type of fishing I was referring to, Dean.
Yeah,
you on Instagram.
You're fishing. I'm more catfishing. It's a bit more my style.
Dean's fishing's more black and white, arty photos down the beach with his hair down.
That's my style, though. If I look like him, I would do too.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, how are you, Dino?
Thanks, Miles. I'm good. I'm excited for this. I like the run-through sheet. I think there's plenty of topics you can touch on. And I think there's going to be plenty of different opinions with this. I know Tommy's got a couple, I've got a couple. So, no, it's good. It's good, boys. Good to be on with you too.
Oh, just before we start, Tom wanted to mention one from the trials. We just had Trial Time, your segment on before. But, Tom, you wanted to mention one from the trials that trialled pretty well?
Yeah, well, we had the trials at Mornington this morning. They're still going, and there was a couple of nice trials. I tell you what, Heat 1 at Mornington, Jump Out 1. We had Isthmus, Tropicus, Tom Kitten, Treasure of the Moment, See You in Heaven, Von Hawk go around. I love the heat of Tom Kitten. He generally trials well, this horse, but he's come back in really good order, and I don't know which race he's heading to. First up, they got the Memsey or the Wink Stakes. I'm not sure. Dean might know more, but in very good order there.
We're going to get a whiteboard up in here in this studio and have all the horses we want to look at and mark them on and where they're going to go right throughout the spring. See if we can follow them. We might be involved in one of those shows too. Hey, Dino, is there anything that's popped up last minute that you wanted to mention before I get into my first topic here?
Off the trials, you meaning?
Yeah. Or anything you've seen?
I just want to note tomorrow, we obviously got 2 big heats. We got Randwick and Gosford. I think we'll see Another Will and Gringotts Stay and Jimmy Star. They're going to be up at Gosford, so they'll come out of the Randwick heats. But all eyes will be on both of those sort of sets. So not a whole lot. We obviously rained out this week, but I want to have a keen eye on those two just in regards to Wink State Smaller.
I'm going to skip over then. We'll just skip to a couple. Let's talk about the Sydney trials. What's the go with Damien Lane riding in Sydney?
Go on, Dino.
So my thinking is Wink Stakes first up. I think Waller's going to have a couple engaged. Fangirl vs Stina. We might even see Lady Shenandoah kick off there. So I think we can all say... Yeah, so I don't know if Aliana's down to trial tomorrow. So Damien's obviously on her as well. So that could be another pointer towards the back end of the spring. But I'm guessing there's not a whole lot on Melbourne that week. We might see D-Lane come up to Sydney and ride one of those 3 in the Winks stake. So he's pretty much, Tommy, you think the second rider now for Chris?
You'd think a couple of those horses like Fangirl, Aliana, obviously Cox Plate. Hopeful might be getting the ride on Aliana and a Cox Plate and some spring features. You'd think the likes of Fangirl, especially if we get some wet tracks, these horses might end up in in Melbourne, and Damien Lane's just done his homework. What else would you be doing on a Thursday morning? Going up, riding some good horses, setting yourself up for a big spring. Aliana's probably his Cox Plate horse, Dino, so just getting a feel on that. And yeah, you'd think the likes of Fangirl and a couple of these others will end up in Melbourne. Turnbull Stakeses and some feature races, Cox Plates again. So, yeah, it's just...
He's clever like that, though, isn't he? He does seem to pop up. Like he's probably the best at it. Like he's identified, and they've probably done that a long way out. Long way out. I mean, Chris has got the hot hand. There's no doubt about that moving into this spring.
Good manager. Well, we can talk about Chris having the hot hand. He's got some huge nominations for Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate, which we'll touch on as well. So, seems like every second horse is trained by Chris, so you may as well be getting along well with him and taking some rights.
Well, we've skipped over a few topics here as we've gone, but the Wink Stakes in general, how do you think that's shaping up, Dino?
Yeah, it's super. It's a key kick-off point. I think the hardest thing about it is figuring out which horses are there to win and which aren't. I think a couple of years we do get it wrong. Should it be a group? Yeah, should it be a Group 1? That's another debate. I don't really care about that. I also care about where horses are at and where they're going to get to, and I like the race. I think if you dive deep into it and figure out, like I'm guessing, boys, this far out, Via Sistina is going to come up favourite. Is she that sharp to win over 1,400 metres? I think it creates a great betting angle, Tommy. I know you're Debbie Downer about it, but I think it's a good mark.
But you're right. It's depending on where the horses are at. But are we expecting, so the first of all is you've got to go who are you expecting to go there as well. So they've pretty much said, haven't they, that Via Sistina will go because it's the same preparation that followed right last year. So then you've got Fangirl, Another Will, Lady Shenandoah, Gringotts, Aliana, Autumn Glow, Private Eye, Tom Kitten, Chow Wolf, Linebacker. Out of all of those, who's actually saying this is 100% where we're going?
I'm big on this, Miles, and I think it's a great opportunity for trainers to target some of these early season Group 1s and roll up on speed while the others are playing jockeys and playing for future races, and just roll along and catch a few of these napping. And it's a good betting angle, Miles. I can't believe we're a week and a half away from Group 1 racing. How good is that? Spring is in the air, well and truly. But that's my play, Dino. I'm looking for horses right now at the market. If you're looking at the market, you're looking at Via Sistina, Fangirl, Backmarker, Lady Shenandoah not there to win, Gringotts probably not there to win, Aliana, Cox Plate, Autumn Glow probably not there to win. I'm looking at horses like Private Eye or Another Will that can get up and rolling. Tom Kitten goes well fresh, so I wouldn't rule out him if he's there. But there's a couple of others, and Bjorn Baker does this really well. So if you're looking at these kind of horses, Royal Patronage rolling up, sprints well fresh as well. So I'm looking for those type of horses, Dino.
Yep, I agree. That's why I like this race. I think the market sort of has its opinion that the best horses should be at the top of the market, where it's 1,400 metres. It's no grand final for a lot of these. So I love the trial of Another Will. We touched on this. I think he's a horse. I think he won the CF4 Stakes beating Brightside first up last prep, and he keeps finding that half a length. So, yes, it's hard to figure out, but like Tommy mentioned, when something is hard and a market is tricky, I think that creates angles. When it's all out in front of you and you know who's going there, what's riding, etc., there's hardly any holes in the market. So, yes, it's somewhat difficult, but I think that creates an angle.
I'm big on you've got to find the horses that are best suited at that trip rather than whether or not it's first up or not. Like I'm thinking that the horses that are Group 1 horses at 1,400, whether or not it's the first up run, I think the horses that are more suited to the 1,400, because a lot of them, their grand final is not this. But anything that's in the 1,400 range probably leans me towards maybe Gringotts.
Yeah, I've had some. I'd pat myself on the back. I've had some really good success in this race and actually tipped and backed.
Mate, this is the exact segment to do it. I've actually nailed this race pretty often in the past. Yeah.
100%.
We're going to rename it the Tom Aylock Stakes, are they?
Yeah, back in 2019, it's the last winner I had, actually.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
But I nailed it.
Yeah.
Sam Adout won at a huge price.
Yeah.
And he's the perfect horse. He trialled like a superstar. He rolled up on speed, and the likes of Happy Clapper, Avelius, these type of horses couldn't get near him. And Avelius was a short price favourite there from memory. Happy Clapper is obviously a star. He just rolled along, skipped clear, and they couldn't catch him. And he was a huge price. He went around at $40 odd. And you could, you could get much better than that when markets open. So he's the type of horse I'm looking for. And I mentioned Bjorn Baker. Those Tim Clark, those type of profiles up on speed for these early 40. We talk about the Memsey as well. Can be one of those. I like this race for a betting standpoint.
Is that like Robusto?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't rule out those type of horses for sure.
Yeah, they're too bad. It's
Private
also,
Eye's probably another.
Yeah,
100%. But
you want him fresh. I don't think you want Private Eye outside of fresh. You can't entertain him anymore.
Do you reckon they'll try and win on him? Why do they go back so often on this horse? Put him into the race. We've seen him run some superb races. Roll forward. He's good enough to win it. Just roll forward. He's got the tactical speed for so long, and it frustrates because he's such a good horse, but they ride him back, they ride him cold, and he runs on, never wins, and we've seen his best races. Even Flemington down the straight, he settled second, and ran a really high rating in a really good race. So he's got the ability to do it for sure. Correct. He ran Imperatrice to half a length when he settled second, and that's the best run he's had in some time. But they continually ride him cold.
So we're still up in the air. Of course, it's coming up in a week or two's time, but it will actually depend on where the tracks are at. That's what we're going to discuss on the other side of this. We're going to clear a break. We're going to talk about the amount of rain. These Sydney decks and what we're expecting. We've still got a couple of things to come on the imports. Spring features nomination numbers. Plenty more to discuss. If you've got a text you want to send in, ask the boys a question, 0499 736 736. Miles Pfitzner, Tom Haylock, Dean Watling, back in a moment.
36 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back, Miles Pfitzner with you. Chatting to two of the great minds that I love having a chat to, Tom Haylock and Dean Watling. Don't forget our Bet365 Bet Boost Horse of the Day, Sandown Race 2, number 1 Algorithmic. It is at $3.20. So looking forward to having a nibble on that. Jump on the Bet365 app or website. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au, but we are keen. Hey, boys, I'm trying to... Most of the things we want to discuss all lead into each other today. But, Tommy, I think we've got to go back to the root of where a lot of these are going to start.
Can we go back to Private Eye?
Yeah. Well, shout out to Nick Ashman, who was going to come on this. I mean, he's involved with the guys at Proven Thoroughbreds, but you've gone like they need to ride him forward.
Well,
bang.
I just wanted to not necessarily this horse, but he's been victim of circumstances and been ridden back in races he should have gone forward, in my opinion. And we've seen him race best when he is on speed in various races. But just the angle here, and we're talking about early Group 1 races, Miles and Dean, intent. And it is the biggest thing in racing and doing the form. There's a reason why Shin, Damien Lane are the best jockeys in Victoria, because they show intent. They're positive, they ride forward, they'd rather track position than cover. They'd rather be positive than negative. And it is a reason why they ride more winners than most. It's simply intent. You'll find leaders win most races. So those horses up on speed, if you are actually there to win races, you win, right? So it's a big piece of the puzzle when doing the form as well. So there's a little tip for people. Some of these horses aren't even trying to win. So why would you possibly bet with confidence on horses that aren't there to win? It's a crucial factor in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's more about, like, a lot of punters aren't sure of preparation or don't go deep enough to know that horses are there to, with a bigger fish to fry.
It's the bigger piece of the puzzle when you're looking at early carnival, and that's what we're kind of focusing on now, because you've got class versus up-and-comers and fitness and wet tracks and whatnot. Class obviously trumps a lot of that. But if you mix class and intent, then you can find a winner. So, it's very interesting. You see some of these class horses that are front runners, they can do really well. Don't take short odds about back markers ever, really. It's hard to do.
Yeah, well, especially on rain-affected decks, in my opinion. Dino, what do you think about intent?
Yeah, Tommy's hit the nail on the head. If we all knew the intent of every stable, every sort of horse, I think racing would be a lot easier. And it's a conundrum that we all face. I think Tommy's hit the nail on the head. That's why Waterhouse and Bott have exceptionally amount of 2-year-old winners, because they put their horses off on speed. I think that's a lot to do with it. And those jockeys you mentioned, they put their horses into races, therefore they're there to win. I think Roseville's a perfect example on the weekend. I think 9 of the 10 races came from horses landing the first 3. So it's just, it's part of the puzzle. It's part of figuring out which horses are there to win and which aren't. And then on the top of that, sort of figuring out the speed maps. I think Tommy touched on that horse that won the Wink Stakes, Semidout. It was a small field, so it was probably the opportunity. Are we going to get a big field this year in the Wink Stakes? But intent is my favourite word in racing, because if you understand it, more often than not, you're going to win.
Well, it's one of those that I think all of us would love to see how horses into races. There's nothing more frustrating than watching a horse roar home and miss. We'd all say that we'd rather be in front and get run down. So I think it happens far too often. We've had a quick text come in.
It happens in Australian racing. UK racing's a little bit different, but Australian racing, it happens all too often.
Someone's texting saying Chow Wolf's first up record. I think, what is it? I might have Joe primed. Joe might have it primed. 5 starts first up, for 1/3. Chow Wolf, I don't think,
He's come into races pretty well underdone, and Joe Pryde's been pretty clear on that, which is good. So you listen to the stable, and SEN do a good job of interviewing a lot of these stables, and you take some important notes from them. Obviously, a horse like Chow Wolf, who's probably going to a Cox Plate or some major...
King Charles,
some major features, they're not going to be primed, ready to win first up, are they? So,
hey, I want to move into this. Spring nomination numbers, Tom. You crunched the numbers on a few from this year compared to last year. I found this fascinating. I didn't realise that they were in decline for some of the spring features as much as they were.
Yeah, I gave Dean a bit of a heads up to have a think about why. But so Caulfield Cup, 146 nominations. They came out the other day, down on 173 last year, Miles. A third of the internationals down, so 12 down from 36 the year prior as well. So we're getting a third. Aidan O'Brien had 19.
So hang on. Just stop here. 12 down from the internationals.
From 36 last year.
Right. Have you done the Melbourne Cup just on the internationals here?
Not yet. The noms, final noms haven't come out yet.
Right. Well, didn't we see the spruik recently that the internationals were going to come out and a big push from that is bigger and better than ever?
Yeah, well.
Or is that not the case?
Aidan O'Brien had 19 Caulfield Cup nominations last year, only one this year. So there's something. Don't know why. But Waller, we mentioned Waller as well, and Damien Lane off the top riding for Waller. He's got 20% or over 20% of the Caulfield Cup noms and something like 28% of the Cox Plate noms. So good stable to be aligned with, that's for sure.
So let's talk about the overall nom numbers. So you've mentioned the Caulfield Cup. That's 146 down from
173, and Cox Plate, 108 nominations down from 137. 10 internationals this year, half of what we saw last year nommed.
So on the Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate, the two here in Victoria, the internationals have dropped at least half, if not more.
Correct. The third for Caulfield Cup and half for the Cox Plate.
So if that trend is the same, it'd be the same for the Melbourne Cup.
You would have thought so, which is interesting. A lot of people see that as a positive, especially for betting and turnover.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's not good for the race.
Absolutely not. It's the less internationals is why it's declined so much. That's why I think some of these. I mean, that's why we're seeing some horses win some races that nearly blow your mind. Dino, what do you think overall on some of this in regards to the nominations, then the internationals, and then I'm going to raise a question. We're going to go to the news. I'm going to raise a question about programming here.
Yeah, the 3 points that I came up with speaking to Tom this morning was travel accessibility in Australia, increased prize money, and too many races. I think the travel accessibility in Australia is if not the most underrated factor over the last 3 to 4 years. I think we don't touch on it enough. I think you go back 2-3 years and you saw a Melbourne horse up in Sydney, and it was sort of like, what's this horse coming up for? Now we see it week to week. What does that do? I think that means that we see a spread of horses across these different races. The Quokka, there's a million of those sort of pop-up races. Therefore, they're not sort of targeted somewhat at our carnivals. Then on top of that, I think the prize money increase then moves them away from our features. Why go to a Cox Plate run 6th or 7th or 8th when you can go to, say, the Quokka or something like that and chip off the good prize money? And then on top of that, that allows more races to pop up. Therefore, it's so saturated that I think we're losing and seeing a lot more less nominations. We've seen a stack of horses go to retirement as well and off the start. So I think those 4 combination have meant that we've sort of seen a drop in our top races. Yes, the Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup, they're always going to be strong, but I'm thinking those Group 2, Group 3s away from that, especially for our features in Sydney and Melbourne, spring and autumn, has sort of dropped away significantly. With the internationals, I'm not sure if it's to do with the rules down there in Melbourne. I know there's been some stiff cases over the last couple of years. The horse is not making it. Is that forcing them not to send them? I know it's changed. So will we see that change come into effect maybe with nominations next year? That's sort of my thinking, boys. But I think that ability to travel horses has been so underrated. It means that they're going here, there and everywhere and maybe not aimed up at our feature carnivals, Milo.
We're going to continue this.
Yeah, I'm keen to dissect the vet protocols and what that's done to this as well.
But haven't we seen recently Dubai Honours coming back?
That's good. But I was just even looking...
But he's coming back for Sydney, isn't he? Not Melbourne, is that right?
I was looking at Golden Eagle.
Cox Plate.
Cox Plate only.
Oh, good.
I think he's nominated for Cox Plate and Caulfield Cup. I'm pretty sure. I read yesterday.
There's no internationals at the top of a Golden Eagle market, which I had a look at, because that might be a reason why they're not going to a Cox Plate or whatnot, setting these internationals. But there's not really. You've got Private Harry, Autumn Glow, Lady Shenandoah, those type of 4-year-olds in the Golden Eagle market.
Let's talk more programming on the other side of this and what that 18th of October through to 1st of November looks like, because that's the mess. Anywhere in Australian racing, there's no doubt about it. That is the mess in the programming calendar. We're going to jump to the news, continue our conversation on the other side of this. Miles Pfitzner, Tom Haylock, Dean Watling, back in a moment.
Signet, making SEN News headlines. The Great Barrier Reef has suffered its largest annual decline in coral since monitoring began in 1986. The Race Discrimination Commissioner is pushing for a nationally coordinated response to racism, including anti-Semitism. Tributes today for Aussie music legend Cole Joy, who has passed away aged 89. And the US flags plans to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. NASA will fast-track plans to build a lunar reactor by 2030 as part of ambitions to build a permanent base for humans to live there. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Nathan Buckley says he's just one of many options the Melbourne Footy Club can consider as its next coach. The Collingwood legend telling SEN he'd be up for a chat if the Demons gave him a call.
Experience in the playing group is unquestioned, and I like the young group of players as well. So in that sense, I think there's a compelling case there for in terms of opportunity.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. All thanks to the team at Bet365. Our Bet Boost horse, race 2, number 1, Algorithmics. Up to 320, Bet Boost, Bet365. Miles Pfitzner with you, with Tom Haylock and Dean Watling. Boys, I want to discuss essentially why the reason why we're missing some of these internationals is clearly the fact that the protocols that we've got here in Melbourne, the decline since those protocols came in, I think has been a massive turn-off for some of these international horses. I mean, we've heard some of the trainers overseas say, well, it's just way too hard and it's also too risky and expensive to bring some of those horses over to have them rubbed out. But the programming side element is really starting to come to the fore. So we have the King Charles on the 18th of October, the Cox Plate on the 25th, and then the Golden Eagle, which is for the 4-year-olds over the 1500 on the 1st of November. Is that the most difficult programming week in Australian horse racing, Tommy?
Don't get me started on, then you got the guineas on the same day and all sorts of stuff. It's a definite mess. They're both fighting. And I'm massive on this, Miles. Racing's biggest concern right now is sports betting and sports, not other jurisdictions and not other states. We need to work together and actually get these good horses running against each other and advertising that and selling that, because we are losing turnover to sports wagering massively. Sports betting is growing and racing wagering is on the decline. So if we're not careful from a racing standpoint, we'll be racing for ribbons soon. So we've got to actually work together, because for the betterment of everyone in the game, we need to work together, not against each other.
So I put it to you, is there a solution? Is it as simple as should RV extend the olive branch to Race in New South Wales and go, hey, right, enough's enough?
Just that'll never happen.
So,
that's the problem.
Why?
There needs to be a national body. We've talked about this for years.
Aaron Morrison's the guy that can do it. He's doing a great job.
He is. There needs to be a national body. You need both parties. At the moment, there's too much competition. They don't want to get in a room together. They don't want to listen to each other, and they don't want to change their fixture and what's worked for so long, especially in Victoria, because they've got the historical factor, whereas Sydney are launching and starting. And what Sydney Racing has done has been fantastic for their jurisdiction, but probably not fantastic for racing nationally. So,
but we had Sydney Racing. We essentially had people come out and say racing in New South Wales is in trouble. We should be selling a race course.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's
So
not.
hang on.
Wagering's declining, but Sydney Racing, actually, go back 10 years. Sydney Racing was actually probably in a worse state than it is now. So I know wagering's not great, but you've got decent fields, decent prize money. It's not all doom and gloom in New South Wales. Is Victorian racing probably worse now than it was 15 years ago? Probably.
Dino, we'll start here first. Your thoughts on that programming of that week, the 18th of October to the 1st of November?
Yeah, it needs to be tinkered. I think Tommy's hit the nail on the head. We've all called for a national body. Does there need to be a national body for that? Probably not. It's probably just New South Wales and Victoria coming together and going, look, what's the best for both parties? I think out of that, then, Tommy, you probably do increase turnover in the sense of punters understanding where horses are going. I think we saw last year we had, prior to Jenny, we had all stack of horses, all nominated for all three races. You don't know where anything's going. No one can sort of bet up with confidence. I think that's a big thing for punters. So I think something needs to be done. The autumn's pretty good. I was thinking back to the autumn. Coincides pretty good. But the spring, and like you mentioned that week, Milo, that's where there's a conundrum, and I think they need to come together and figure out what's best for both states to coincide there.
And then you've got dual nominations and even acceptors and acceptors.
But even with my biggest gripe, so I just look straight at the thing that I'd want straight away is the biggest gripe is you're trying to push markets out for horses you can't get on. So you instantly turned off betting or trying to bet in towards the future. One, because you could be betting on a horse that's necessarily going there, so you don't actually even get your money back.
And the bookmakers have huge over rounds and huge prices. You got, what is it, Via Sustina 230 or something for a Cox Plate this far out? That's also a problem because futures, and Dane's right, because you've got so many options. You don't know where the horse is going. You don't get refunded if they don't run most of the time. And it turns people away. Whereas if you back a horse now for a race like the Golden Eagle, you're following that horse all through its campaign. It has flow-on effects from a wagering standpoint as well, because you're watching Aliana or Lady Shenandoah's next race and you might bet on it then. You're keeping a close eye on it. And it gets people more engaged in the sport. But futures betting's dead. It is tricky.
Well, they killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dead because they killed it.
And bookies haven't helped themselves either in that sense.
No, absolutely not, Dino.
I think the other point too is the jockeys, boys. I know the love affair for James McDonald and co. I think when we don't coordinate these races and big days together, we see a split in jockeys where we should be, as racing fans, celebrating those big days, the best horses, the best jockeys all in one place. I think that's when it's at its best, when they're split. Some horses are here, some staying for one ride. I think that also hinders racing. I know it's not as a wagering setup, but as a fan and engagement in our sport, I think that's a point that we don't sort of touch on.
It has a flow-on effect, no doubt.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Zach's text in, futures markets are rigged. As soon as there's 50 on, the price disappears. Yeah, well, it's not. It might have a bit more to do with your account rather than that price, but 50 doesn't affect them too much. I can give you the red hot tip with that.
You're just 50 at $3 when they should be 30s.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And when you talk about percentage of the markets, they're not there. But my biggest gripe is that you've got horses that sometimes are even finished their preparation and they've gone to the paddock and they're still open in markets. They're still open in futures markets, and you can make the mistake maybe like I have in the past of accidentally having a bet on those horses and your money is gone. It's gone.
What was that horse?
It was piggyback.
That's no good.
Yeah. I checked the day before and then it got tipped out in the paddock that morning. And I had the bet that afternoon, and money confetti. Sick.
My mate Lockie had a futures bet on a horse called, I think it was Fox Hunt.
Yep.
He had it before a race in something like the Jubmont International or something. Had it for the Melbourne Cup 3 months out. This was years ago. It was short price, like $10 in the Melbourne Cup market. The horse had passed away on that race in the UK, and it was sat in his bet slip for 3 months. And the horse had, not good.
Not good. Hey, 0499 736 736 if you want to chime into the conversation. We'll just clear a break. More of this on the other side.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Miles Pfitzner, Tom Haylock, Dean Watling with you right around the country. Before we get stuck in on some of those protocols and what it means, is it too hard? There's a great text that's come in. What's the upside to bookies holding money on futures? Takes time and work to produce markets, but the current fees and taxes don't motivate or reward holding more money on races. Who wants this?
Yeah, not wrong regarding the fees and taxes. It is actually... it's actually very expensive. If you're a break-even or slightly losing client at a bookmaker, it's costing the bookmaker money, and people don't realise that, Miles. So it's a fair comment. There is upside in taking those bets, obviously. It is hard and it takes work. There's upside in taking those bets and keeping the clients coming back to that wagering service provider. I think there's actually an opportunity for a WSP to actually putting up a decent market and getting some traction. We've seen, instead of promos, put up some decent futures markets and maybe limit clients to winning certain amounts, but getting people on. Like, it might be an expense. It might cost the bookmaker money, but at least they're opening accounts there to get a bet on. At least they're, like, if I was starting up a WSP, I'd look at that.
Yeah, I think wherever you hold the money, I think takes time and work to produce markets. Yeah, you'd want to be holding the money than not. Anywhere where you're holding the money, that's in business or wherever, whoever's holding the cash is going to certainly be better off, especially when you're running businesses that's cash in, cash out basis. Dino, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think the more money there, the more money you can tinker with on race day. And I think they're not hoping for horses not to come, but as a punter, you are taking that risk. So Tommy's hit the nail on the head. The taxes do affect that, and that's why we see our market percentage in our races is increasing, because the tax just gets passed on somewhat to the punter. So I can understand that side of it. The flip side, like Tommy mentioned, you're a bookmaker. If you put some resources into that, yes, set a minimum bet to it, but if you allow punters on, when you get to race day, so many things change. I think there would be a definite sort of edge there for a bookie to set that up, like Tommy mentioned. Is there time? Is there money for that? I'm not sure, but I think Tommy's come up with a not a bad idea there.
I want to touch on the vet protocols for a bit. We've only got about 5 or 6 minutes left, but the vet protocols here in Victoria have they worked, Tom? Have they worked? And why does Victoria need it, and why don't Sydney have it?
100% they've worked. I am massively in RV's corner in this. I know punters get incredibly frustrated, and the futures punters, and you see them whinging on social media and about it, and horses are being late with draws and stuff. There's a few elements to this. Firstly, let's have emergencies in a Melbourne Cup. That's a no-brainer. But they've worked. And even I noticed in the spring last year, the sentiment going to the track has been a lot better. We've seen 4 years without serious injury or fatalities in a Melbourne Cup. We had a treacherous run before that, Miles, which had huge impact on the sport and the negative sentiment on the sport. So I think it's starting to turn, and it's done a great job. Whether they're over the top or not, and whether that makes it hard for international horses to come here, that's a different topic and a different point of conversation. But in terms of where the sport is at and where Spring Carnival's at, I think it's worked.
Let's start the different topic. Does it make it harder for international horses to get here?
No doubt it does. Does it matter?
Yes.
Why does it matter?
Well, the quality of the races has significantly declined. Significantly declined.
Does it affect turnover?
Well, if the quality of the races declined, yes, it would affect the turnover.
A race like the Melbourne Cup, we've seen some internationals start well in the market here. We've still seen some good horses come over. Obviously, we saw a couple scratched race morning or the night of as well. They see a lot of people complaining about these internationals coming and winning our cups and hard to do form and whatnot. There's a case to be made that it hasn't actually impacted turnover at all.
Mate, I'd totally disagree. Dino?
Yeah, well, I don't have the stats on me for the turnover, but what it has done, I think, the last couple of years is we don't breed for that, so we sort of rely a lot on our stock. I think it's taken away from the race itself. Like, I think back when I'm growing up, I love the puzzle of figuring out which international we're going to back.
The media puzzle.
That's somewhat come... Yeah, well, that's true. And I think Tommy's right. It has worked. Is it too far? to one way now. Do we need to bring it back? I think that's what RV's got to figure out. I think they have, but to put it right, I think it's made it a lot harder for horses to come. And has it made the Cup less enjoyable? As a racing fan, I'd probably say yes.
So
the last couple of years.
Why, for the Caulfield Cup, the Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup, the Cox Plate's 2,040 and the Caulfield Cup's 2,400, why do we need it for those? Why?
Yep, it's a good point.
Well, you don't need it for the you don't need it for the Metropolitan.
Well, there's different jurisdictions, different rules for different states.
But why do we need it for the Caulfield Cup and the Cox Plate?
Well,
if it's about the welfare of the horse and the Melbourne Cup being the biggest race in your country, why don't just make it the Caulfield, make it the Melbourne Cup, and at least give them an opportunity to run in two others if they bring a horse over. They bring a horse over, and then if they pass or fail, they can still run in two other races.
There's been some funny scenarios where horses haven't been allowed to run, and we've seen it in Cox Plates before. Where horses haven't been able to run, but they've gone across the border and run, or they've gone to a different race on the same week.
New South Wales have been the beneficiary of all of this because someone's taken them on head on, but it's at the Racing Victoria's expense of not having those internationals.
And I'll tell you what, if there were, it's different, but if there were horses, internationals coming over and running in an Everest, for example, and breaking down, I know it hasn't happened and it probably won't happen because the 3,200 metres and the nature of a Melbourne Cup is different, but that would have a big impact on the sport in New South Wales. So they're fortunate, and it's probably good planning to a sense, but we can't underestimate how bad racing was seen in the public eye 10 years ago when we had continually horses breaking down continually.
In the Melbourne Cup.
In the Melbourne Cup.
Right, so then just have it for the Melbourne Cup.
Yep.
Dino?
Yep, no, I agree. I think we've got to be on the safe, cautious side somewhat, but at the same time, we've still got to protect our product, which is racing. I think that's massive. And yes, it is different to an Everest. I think Tommy hits the nail on the head. 3,200 metres is a lot bigger ask than 1,200, but I think there's ways that we can still manage it without sort of making it extremely difficult to come across.
Quick break. Wrap up the show on the other side of this with the boys, and we'll frantically talk to each other in this ad break and see on the 90 seconds on the other side who can cook each other. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Last 60 seconds of the show. Miles Pfitzner, Tom Aylock, Dean Watling. Tommy, you got a winner today for us?
I wonder what Dean has to say about Burma Star in the first, up against Spice Prawn. The track looks pretty wet, lots of scratchings, but I think Burma Star, first up, Chris Waller, James McDonald, barrier 3, finds the right part of the track, trialled the house down for Chris Waller. We know he goes well fresh, Chris Waller as a trainer.
Dino, you had it, Burma Star as one of your best, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I think the other point I wanted to make was Exceed and Excel too. So hasn't let down in 2 dry runs last prep. Best run was on debut on a soft deck. So I actually don't mind the wet track today. It's a drifter, around 360 now. I think that's a nice price, boys.
We didn't quite get stuck into the Sydney tracks, but in the last 15 seconds, Dino, we're in for it to be wet for some time up there.
Yeah, we are. I'm praying they dry out for the Wink Stakes, but I doubt they will. I think there's more rain expected at the weekend. So, Tommy, I know you're a big Debbie down on these tracks, and we need to sort of now to discuss them. But, yeah.
Talking about
we might do tracks next week. How does that sound with the two of you?
Sure, mate.
We can do that.
Instead of State of the Union, we'll do State of the Tracks. Hey, Dino, appreciate you jumping on, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. Enjoy your day.
Tommy, thanks for coming in.
Very good. Good call.
Yeah, that's good. Great call up. You rated it yourself, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Remember that winner I backed?
Pretty happy with it. Remember that race I'm good at 6 years ago? Hey, thanks for coming in, mate.
Been a pleasure, mate.
Hey, don't forget to our Bet Boost horse of the day, Algorithmics Race 2, number 1, Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.